Boker Tov, Chavrim, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live, and we do have breaking news coming out of Israel. In fact, one news that has already been removed from the IDF page there on Twitter was first thing this morning, only minutes ago. Israel's Twitter page, IDF, had announced that mortars had targeted near Israeli troops in the Golan. Now that tweet has since been removed, and unfortunately I wouldn't think to even screen capture that tweet this morning. I wish I had of now after seeing it. I will look again and see if I can find it. I looked on their homepage, could not find it anywhere. But on the other hand, they're sounding the red alert sirens in southern Israel now near the Gaza Strip, and Israel is poised to move in on that front there on a ground invasion inside of the Gaza Strip there. It is a very tense situation that is happening in Israel this morning. We're seeing this from every angle, but especially up in the Golan, because up in the Golan, the Syrian forces are right at the very edge of the border there with Israel, pushing Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, and ISIS to a stranglehold there in the region. They have moved so rapidly, it is just alarming at the speed that they've moved. Now, I noticed that Debka File this morning put out this article here with the IDF poised to strike Hamas, Israel is Northern Front forgotten. That's kind of something I guess they want to make it look like at this point. Israel would like to kind of make it look that the northern border is weakened at this point. But in reality, maybe this is to give more cause for a war with Syria. Now, I know that we would like to say it's Iran, but you know, in reality, Iran is only the excuse. The Israeli government would love to take out Bashar al-Assad, especially in light of the fact that President Trump was making a deal with President Putin up in Helsinki, Finland. Israel very concerned about that meeting. Just exactly what did it mean, even though Russia and Israel both were guaranteed safety on the border of Israel, there was still a lot of question as to really what would be the turnout of that. And oddly enough, in Russian media, this article here appeared today as well, and it's saying here that Israel and Syria on the brink of war. If you look at the gist of the article here, I threw it in Google Translate to make it a little bit easier. Gazeta reported that the Syrian Arab Army recently encountered armed opposition in provinces of Dara and Quneitra, and the approach to borders of Israel is expected that the Syrian army will be able to continue to advance and surround armed groups in the area bordering on the positions of the United Nations peacekeeping force. According to the newspaper, the advancement of the Syrian army towards the Israeli border could lead to a war with Israel. The Israeli army has mobilized many of its units in the Israeli part of the Golan Heights, and the IDF forces may face Syrian forces in the latter cross the line of separation, or if the Israeli territory will be accidentally fired upon. So this is exactly, Russia is expecting that there could be a war that would break out between Syria and Israel. It is certainly something that can be expected. And then the French news actually posted this particular ominous report, and whether or not it is true or not, I cannot say, but it is coming from Entrepot Jacques of Entrepot Jacques on Twitter there. Stated here, translated from French, it says here that if the terrorists are hiding in an Israeli-controlled area in the occupied Golan, Russia and its allies will eliminate them one by one, allegedly launched Putin to Netanyahu. In other words, a message that was sent from Putin directly to Netanyahu. If he is hiding any of these terrorists inside of his country, they will hunt them down there. Now, that is not a good thing to be said, I can assure you, and I'm sure Israel will not take that lightly at all either, if that really is the case. Turning back towards the United States, so after the meeting with President Putin and that of President Trump, and all those that hate Russia in the American political rings there, that express their sentiment and express how that Trump is colluding openly with Russia, and of course how they say that he's treasonous in his acts, etc., etc., etc. Putin had RT put out this particular set of footage of all those advanced weapon tests that he showed in animations not too long ago. And now he is showing that those weapons are real and that they are being used. And I'm going to give you an example. This is this one particular bomb that we see in the videos, that when it takes off from the plane, it can hover the earth. It can go undetected. Very massive types of bombs there, and they will show these being dropped. Let me just see if we can get it a little bit more advanced here up on the footage there. But Russia is showing in all their footages here that indeed these weapons are real, and they are now being used on the battlefield, being tested out there. Sadly enough to hear that, but that's just the way they're saying it. And so they're showing all these different types of weapons that have been deployed and what their capabilities are. We're not actually seeing that, but he's showing you that indeed this is no longer just animated footage. He's letting the world know that they have developed these and that they are ready to go. This one here is their nuclear bomb system here, their brand new one, the portable one there that is supposed to be able to take out multiple areas. Kind of see if I can't speed it up just a little bit here for you. But they are testing these things more and more. They are showing you also in the videos the production lines that they are being built and that they are going to be used in the very near future. Seems like to me, though, that Russia is trying to send a very ominous message to the political leaders in the United States that if they don't go along and make this peace with Russia, Russia is very much ready to go to war with the U.S. That's very troubling indeed, guys. You know, I mean, I hate that. And like I said, you know, regardless of my thoughts on Putin, etc., the reality of a war with Russia is very real, and it's something I would much rather see averted. So, you know, peace is a heck of a lot better than all-out war. What good does it do to make all these threats here? And I mean, come on, seriously. And I'm sure, I know in America we have the great technology as well, some of the greatest, but by the way, our technology is all being sent overseas. And guess who's stealing our information from us to begin with, all of our greatest technology? Well, you might have guessed it if you said Israel. Yes, our own brothers and sisters over there, and I understand why they like to steal the technology, because they have a very small nation and they want to survive. But it is a known fact in the intelligence community that that is something that is going on. And then the sad thing is, though, is that information gets sold to China and Russia. At least bits and pieces of it does. Also here we have the Syrian army statement to the United States. We strongly warn the Pentagon leadership in the United States that we will not be silent on the recognition of the sovereignty of the occupied Syrian Golan to the State of Israel, and that we will strike at the strongest American servers, including commercial banks and companies. I'm sure that's not really that serious of a threat, but, you know, I'm sure the United States doesn't need to have all that kind of nonsense going on either. But nonetheless, that is another issue coming up that the U.S. will recognize, and Reuters has put out an article saying that the United States is going to recognize the Golan Heights. President Trump is going to do that next. And I still think every bit of this is orchestrated. I really can't help but believe all these things are being orchestrated in order to bring about a war in the region. They need a reason to justify finishing off Assad and then taking out Iran as well to further the New World Order. And unfortunately, let me say this to my Israeli brothers and sisters in Israel, they need a war in Israel to weaken the people of Israel so that we will be forced to accept this New World Order, new regional bloc peace that puts the Saudi kingdom pretty much over the region there. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid is the real deal awaiting the Israeli people, you know, because Israelis, you know, when they begin to wake up and recognize this is a new world order and it's really not for the benefit of Israel and for a coming of the Messiah, but rather this is just a new world order where the Pope's going to be running the old city of Jerusalem. No, our people would just not accept that lying down. You know, when they find out that all these rabbis that are part of the Jewish Congress have deceived you, lied to you, falsified the history for the Vatican, and have been writing apologetics for the last 20 years, yeah, you know what? Go see how much money they've been paid to be able to lie to you and tell you all these lies. You know, every bit of this is nothing but a joke. And then my Christian brothers and sisters around the world, you're sitting there listening to Mossad agents that are pretending to be Christians when they're really Jesuits. They're just like the leaders right now that are Catholic, that are pretending to be Israelis. You know, when the Bible says they say they are Jews and they are not, hello, they're Jesuits. All right? They're not for the people of Israel. Let's save it on Patreon. They'll be shutting my channel down. I keep telling you guys the truth over here. That's what they want to do. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. Support the broadcast, please. IsraeliNewsLive.org, as well as our address, which you guys always see that anyway, but I'll throw it up there once again so you can see that. We do appreciate tremendously your help in keeping this broadcast alive because we can't do it without you. So I think we're going to do another broadcast on Patreon. Patreon.com. Let me put that up for you guys as well. Those of you that would like to join up over there. Patreon.com is, here we go, and we better blow that up so you can see it a little bit better. It's Patreon.com. Israeli News Live. Don't forget the / Israeli News Live. That'll take you straight over to Patreon if you want to catch the videos over there that we're doing. We put in photographs that we personally take around the world. Our Patreon viewers are allowed to use those photographs for their own personal use because we have a lot of photographs from all over the world. We have them from political leaders, Pope of Rome, you name it. And so many people today, you know, as you see on Google all the time, these photos are subject to copyright. Yeah, they are. And but we're doing it to where you have the advantage of using those as well. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun with Israeli News Live. Erev Tov, or Boker Tov. It's good morning. Depends on what part of the world you're in. Erev Tov for all of you that are over in the eastern part of the world because it's in the evening for you. And also our friends over, we even have friends in Iran that listen to this message. So keep in mind, not everybody in Iran is bad people. Come on, guys. Anyway, blessings to all of you. Sister Tracy, your husband as well. God bless you. And shalom, shalom.